Welcome to Historical Nights. You are invited now to slow your breath, quiet your thoughts, and allow the distant echoes of time to gently unfold around you. Tonight, we will drift into the landscapes of ancient ingenuity, exploring the inventions that quietly shaped the world as we know it today. Not the loud clamor of war or the rise and fall of empires, but the steady, thoughtful rhythm of human creativity. Simple needs, met with simple tools, slowly transforming life. From the hum of a Mesopotamian marketplace to the quiet splash of Roman aqueducts, we'll trace how everyday people, merchants, potters, scribes, farmers, navigated a world increasingly shaped by innovation. You won't need to follow every detail. There's no test, no need to remember dates or names. Just let yourself imagine. Let the cadence of history wash over you, like the gentle current of a river long forgotten. In tonight's journey, we'll wander through 4 calming scenes. First, a quiet immersion into daily life, exploring the tools and technologies that ancient people used to prepare food, build homes, and move through their days. Then, we'll turn to the life and legacy of one particularly influential ancient inventor, whose ideas continue to ripple through time. In our third chapter, we'll explore the quiet mysteries of archaeology, how the silent objects unearthed from sand and soil whisper forgotten stories of human ingenuity. And finally, we'll glimpse the contrasting world of the ancient elite, their grand mechanisms, clever luxuries, and the subtle divide between those who invented and those who merely used. So, nestle into your blanket. Allow the day to drift behind you. And as the night deepens, let us travel together, slowly, gently, through the soothing tapestry of ancient inventions that shaped our world. Oh, and if you're enjoying these stories, I'd really appreciate a like or subscribe. I am super curious where you're all listening from. So, drop a comment with your location and what time it is there. Always blows my mind how people are falling asleep to this all over the world. Imagine yourself waking not in the present, but far in the past. The air is still, touched with the faint aroma of ash from a hearth long cooled. Outside, the world is just beginning to stir. The sky is pale with morning, and the land is quiet. No hum of engines, no digital chime. Just the steady, ancient rhythm of life, slowly coming awake. This is a world without electricity, without plastics or satellites or screens. But it is not a world without ingenuity. In fact, in these quiet places, in farms, in fields, in workshops of stone and thatch, the foundations of our modern world were gently taking root. Let's spend this time walking through the ordinary day of the ancient world. From the first flickers of light to the final embers of night, we will move slowly, observing the tools, techniques, and simple inventions that shaped life not just for kings or scholars, but for everyone. As the sky begins to brighten, the first task is simple: create warmth. In homes from ancient Mesopotamia to rural Han China, from the Nile to the Indus, the day began with fire. The hearth, a hollowed pit, a raised clay platform, or a brazier of stone, was the center of home life. But fire wasn't easily summoned. It required patience and skill. Most families kept embers smoldering through the night, buried in ash to insulate them. A small puff of breath and a handful of straw would coax the glow to life. In other places, fire was started from scratch each morning. Flint struck against iron pyrite, or a bow drill, spun by hand, producing a thread of smoke from the friction of stick against wood. The first wisps of flame were cradled like something alive, and in truth, they were. Fire was heat. Fire was safety. Fire was breakfast. The light from outside was reflected inward using polished bronze mirrors, especially in wealthier homes. These small, simple tools captured sunlight and brought it where needed, into the darker corners of courtyards, or across the tiles of a kitchen. Windows were rare and small. Most light was borrowed. The kitchen of antiquity was a world unto itself, filled with slow, deliberate invention. Grinding stones, known as querns or metates, sat low to the ground. Women, often seated or kneeling, used handheld stones to crush grain into flour. The process was rhythmic. A steady back and forth. In ancient Greece and Rome, this might be barley or wheat. In Mesoamerica, maize. In Egypt, emmer wheat. These grains were not eaten raw. They were transformed into flatbreads, porridges, gruels, and early forms of fermented dough. Small clay ovens, shaped like upturned jars or beehives, were used to bake. In some regions, simple griddles were laid over stones, creating hot surfaces on which to cook. The pottery used in these kitchens was itself an innovation. Coarse, functional, and beautiful in its own way, each pot or bowl was shaped by hand or wheel, then hardened by fire. Some were lined with slip to hold liquids. Others had vented lids to let steam escape. Water, for cooking and drinking, had to be fetched. In the Indus Valley, the ancient city of Mohenjo-Daro featured clay-lined wells, among the earliest evidence of urban plumbing. Elsewhere, large jars or amphorae held collected rainwater or water drawn from streams. To flavor the food, early cooks used salt, dried herbs, honey, fermented fish sauces, or pounded garlic. These ingredients were often stored in carved stone basins, or preserved in woven baskets hung high to keep insects away. The ancient kitchen was slow. But it was thoughtful. It was a daily act of making something from almost nothing. As the day continued, homes across the ancient world came alive with quiet activity. One of the most common and essential technologies was the loom. Women, and sometimes men, sat at vertical or horizontal looms, weaving threads into fabric. Linen in Egypt. Wool in Mesopotamia and the Mediterranean. Silk in China. Cotton in the Americas and the Indus Valley. Threads were spun using drop spindles, weighted with discs of bone or clay, and dyed using natural pigments, ochre, indigo, saffron, madder root. The homes themselves were built with invention. In cooler regions, thatch roofs and wattle-and daub walls provided insulation. In warmer climates, mud brick structures held cool air and filtered sunlight. Walls were painted with lime wash to reflect heat, and courtyards were arranged to create shade and cross breezes. Storage jars were sealed with wax or cloth. Dried meats, grains, beans, and oils were kept off the ground to prevent spoilage. In some homes, clever pit storage systems, essentially underground pantries, kept perishables cool. Even seating and furniture had their forms of innovation. Simple three-legged stools, low wooden tables, and folding cots, each designed with portability and purpose in mind. All around the ancient home, life moved quietly forward with tools passed down for generations. By midday, the world had grown bright, and the farmers were already deep in their work. Agriculture was the foundation of every ancient society. And with it came some of humanity's earliest and most enduring inventions. The plow, for instance, was a transformative device. Early plows were simple digging sticks or animal-drawn scratch plows, used to loosen topsoil. In Mesopotamia, the ard plow evolved, a wooden frame tipped with bronze or later iron, pulled by oxen or donkeys. In China, iron plows with adjustable blades appeared during the Han Dynasty, allowing deeper, more efficient tilling. Irrigation was another crucial technology. The Egyptians used shadufs, long poles with a counterweight and bucket, to draw water from canals into fields. In Persia, the qanat system, underground channels sloping gently downward, brought water across miles of arid land. In other regions, terrace farming carved steps into mountainsides, capturing water and preventing erosion. Scythes and sickles were used for harvesting. Flails for threshing. Winnowing baskets to separate chaff from grain. And all of it, every motion, every tool, was part of the rhythm of rural life. Even the calendar was a farming invention. Across cultures, people tracked the stars, the moon, the flooding of rivers, to know when to plant and when to reap. The inventions of the field were not glamorous. But they fed the world. Quietly. Endlessly. Domesticated animals were not just companions, they were partners in invention. Donkeys, oxen, camels, and horses were harnessed with yokes, collars, and early saddles. These were technologies in their own right, designed to distribute weight without harming the animal. Over time, refinements in harnessing techniques would lead to greater mobility, trade, and farming efficiency. Animals provided more than transport and labor. Wool was sheared from sheep. Milk was turned into yogurt, cheese, and clarified butter. Dung was dried and used as fuel or plaster. Even bees were domesticated, kept in clay hives, their wax and honey harvested with care. Ancient peoples understood their animals intimately. They bred them, named them, and cared for them. And in return, they offered strength, warmth, and the materials of survival. Beyond the fields and kitchens, other hands were busy at work. In towns and villages, artisans formed the quiet backbone of industry. Potters, using foot-powered wheels or coil-building techniques, shaped jars, bowls, lamps, and figurines. Their kilns, fueled by wood or dried dung, reached high temperatures, turning wet clay to stone. Blacksmiths worked over forges, shaping bronze, then iron, into tools, weapons, and ornaments. Their bellows, made from goat skin and wood, pumped air to feed the fire. Leatherworkers softened hides in tannin-rich solutions. Carpenters shaped planks using saws with stone or metal teeth. Jewelry makers inlaid shells or semi-precious stones into beads and bangles. Every village had its makers. These crafts were slow, often communal, passed from parent to child. And while their products varied, a bowl in Greece, a bead in Nubia, a sandal in India, the ingenuity behind them was shared. As the sun began to lower, the rhythm of life changed again. Evening brought families together. Meals were prepared again, often a simple version of the morning fare, warmed on coals. Food was shared. Stories told. And in the dimming light, small lamps were lit. These were often simple clay vessels, filled with olive oil or animal fat, and fitted with a reed or flax wick. Their glow was soft, flickering. Enough to read by, if one had the skill. Enough to see a loved one's face. In wealthier homes, metal lamps hung from chains. In poorer places, firelight or moonlight had to do. And as night deepened, people turned to sleep, upon woven mats, straw-stuffed pallets, or wooden frames strung with leather or rope. Homes were secured with sliding bars, and valuables stored in locked chests, secured with early keys or wooden latches. Children curled close to their parents. The fire burned low. And above, the stars, the original calendar, traced their slow arc through the sky. Through it all, from morning to night, field to fire, birth to burial, the inventions of daily life were always present. Simple. Unassuming. But essential. They were born not in palaces, but in need. Not in laboratories, but in kitchens, fields, and workshops. These were the technologies that did not conquer empires or dazzle historians. But they endured. They evolved. They laid the quiet foundation upon which all else was built. As we end this first part of our journey tonight, may you carry with you that rhythm, the soft scrape of a grinding stone, the hiss of water on hot clay, the distant thump of hooves on dry ground. Tomorrow's world began in those sounds. And in their hush, you may find your rest. Imagine yourself in the ancient city of Alexandria, a place of gentle bustle and quiet wonder. The warm Mediterranean sun filters softly through the narrow streets, casting long shadows over buildings of pale stone. In the background, the steady rhythm of the harbor's waves creates a gentle soundtrack, a timeless murmur underscoring the city's daily life. Here, where the world's knowledge seems gathered under one sky, a man named Hero lives and works. It is the 1st century AD, a time when the ancient world's greatest ideas and inventions are blossoming quietly, away from the roar of armies and conquests. Alexandria, founded by Alexander the Great just a few centuries before Hero's time, is a city unlike any other. Imagine yourself wandering its streets. Vendors call softly in Greek, Egyptian, and other tongues. Fishmongers arrange their catches on slabs of stone near the water's edge. Scholars in flowing robes carry scrolls under their arms, deep in thought or discussion. The great library of Alexandria, though its exact form is lost to time, is said to house hundreds of thousands of scrolls, treasures of human thought from across the Mediterranean and beyond. This city is a crossroads, of cultures, languages, and ideas. It is a place where philosophy, mathematics, and natural science flourish side by side with poetry, religion, and the practical arts. Hero's Alexandria is a city alive with curiosity, a place where invention is a natural extension of everyday life. Hero, sometimes called Heron, was an engineer, mathematician, and inventor. The details of his life are sparse, but his writings survive, allowing us to peer through time at his mind. He lived and worked in Alexandria during the 1st century AD, a time when the Hellenistic tradition of inquiry and observation remained vibrant. Hero was fascinated by the principles of mechanics and pneumatics, the movement of air and water, the hidden forces that make things move. His inventions ranged from the playful to the practical, automata that entertained, devices that harnessed air pressure, and early machines that hinted at the potential of steam power. Imagine a device no larger than a small pot. A hollow metal sphere, balanced carefully on a pair of pipes, which allows steam to enter and exit through curved nozzles. The Eolipile was simple in form, yet profound in principle. Hero created it to demonstrate the power of steam. Water in a cauldron beneath the sphere boiled, releasing steam that traveled through the pipes into the sphere. As the steam escaped through the nozzles, it caused the sphere to spin gently, turning heat into motion. This invention was not just a toy. It revealed a fundamental truth, that heat energy could be transformed into mechanical energy. The Eolipile worked because steam, confined and pressurized, could exert force. The curved nozzles directed the steam jets backward, creating thrust in the opposite direction, causing rotation. In many ways, it is the first recorded device to use the principle of reaction propulsion, centuries before the steam engines of the Industrial Revolution. Yet, in Hero's time, the Eolipile was primarily a curiosity, a demonstration of natural forces rather than a tool for work. Hero's interests went beyond the Eolipile. He wrote extensively on pneumatics, creating devices that used air pressure, steam, and water to perform simple but clever tasks. Imagine a temple where, during religious ceremonies, the heavy doors seemed to open by themselves. Hero's automatic door opener used heated air to create pressure, moving weights and pulleys to swing open the doors, a mechanical marvel that would have felt like magic to worshippers. He also designed singing birds and other automata that use steam or water pressure to create movement and sound. These devices demonstrated principles of air pressure and fluid dynamics, but also captured imaginations, blending science and spectacle. Hero's writings are meticulous. He described his machines in detail, often providing diagrams and instructions. This shows that he was not simply an inventor, but also a teacher. He sought to share knowledge, to explain how natural forces worked, and to inspire others to think creatively. His treatises covered topics including mechanics, optics, and mathematics, reflecting a broad and deep understanding of the natural world. Though the Eolipile was never used as a practical engine in Hero's time, the idea was revolutionary. It anticipated the steam engines that would centuries later transform the world. Hero's blending of scientific observation with mechanical invention laid important groundwork for engineering and technology. His inventions remind us that curiosity, experimentation, and the desire to understand natural forces have been constant companions of human progress. Imagine stepping quietly into Hero's workshop. The air is warm, scented faintly with the tang of heated metal and fresh water. On benches, metal spheres, pipes, and weights lie ready for assembly. Hero works patiently, testing his devices, the hiss of steam, the gentle turning of a sphere, the soft creak of pulleys filling the space. The workshop is a place of calm experimentation, where ideas take shape through careful observation and hands-on trial. Hero lived centuries before the steam engines of the 1700s. His work is a reminder that technological progress is not always linear or immediate. Sometimes, ideas wait quietly in the background, like embers beneath ash, until conditions are right for them to flare into new life. Hero's inventions are the faint pulse of a future yet to come. As we close this segment, imagine again the Eolipile, its gentle rotation, the soft hiss of steam, the delicate balance of pipes and nozzles. Hero's world was one where science and art, observation and imagination, came together in quiet wonder. His inventions were not loud or brash, but steady and thoughtful. They invite us to pause, to reflect, and to appreciate the gentle rhythms of discovery, a calm journey into the heart of human ingenuity. Picture yourself aboard a wooden ship gently rocking on the calm, blue waters of the Aegean Sea. The warm breeze carries the subtle scent of salt and pine, mixing softly with the sun's late afternoon glow. Around you, the sea stretches to the horizon, shimmering quietly beneath a vast, pale sky. This peaceful scene, timeless and unassuming, cradles a secret long buried beneath waves and sand, a secret that whispers of ancient genius, of a world where science and art merged seamlessly. In the year 1900, near the small Greek island of Antikythera, sponge divers were exploring underwater caves and rocky outcroppings, searching for their prized harvest. The ocean floor, thick with the scent of damp saltwater and seaweed, held many treasures, but none quite like the one they found that day. Among broken statues, fragments of pottery, and other artifacts from a shipwreck dating back to roughly the 1st century BCE, divers retrieved an encrusted bronze object. Initially, it appeared to be a lump of corroded metal, heavy and strange. For decades, this odd artifact rested quietly in a museum, its secrets locked beneath layers of oxidation and mystery. It wasn't until scholars began applying X-rays and other modern technologies that the Antikythera mechanism slowly revealed itself, an ancient machine, astonishingly complex, and unlike anything previously known from antiquity. Imagine holding the mechanism in your hands. Roughly the size of a shoebox, it is a bronze case enclosing a series of finely crafted gears, wheels, and dials, the mechanical heart of a miniature cosmos. Though corroded and incomplete, experts estimate it contains at least 30 interlocking bronze gears, cut with a precision that rivals devices crafted centuries later during the Renaissance. Each gear was carefully arranged to track celestial cycles, the phases of the moon, the movement of the sun through the zodiac, the timing of eclipses, and even the schedules of the ancient Olympic Games. This tiny mechanism was, in essence, an analog computer, designed to calculate and display the complex movements of heavenly bodies without the aid of electronics or digital technology. The mechanism emerged from a world deeply engaged with the cosmos. Ancient Greek scholars studied the heavens not only as abstract science but as guides for agriculture, navigation, and ritual. Imagine the thinkers of Rhodes, Corinth, or Alexandria, places renowned for blending philosophy, mathematics, and practical mechanics. They observed stars by night, tracking cycles with naked eyes, recording data on scrolls illuminated by flickering oil lamps. In this world, the sky was a grand clockwork, and the Antikythera mechanism was a way to hold that vast clock in the palm of one's hand. Imagine turning a small, worn knob on the mechanism's side. With each gentle twist, the bronze gears inside mesh and turn, slowly rotating dials on the front and back of the device. One dial shows the sun's position along the zodiac, 12 signs carved into the metal, worn smooth from centuries of use. Another dial marks the moon's phases, showing its waxing and waning in delicate detail. Through the intricate gear train, the mechanism can even predict lunar and solar eclipses, using the Saros cycle, a period of approximately 18 years after which eclipses repeat. The true wonder lies not just in what the mechanism could display but in the complexity of its inner workings. Some gears rotate faster, some slower, arranged with different tooth counts to simulate elliptical orbits and irregular cycles. Its design anticipates the principles of differential gearing, something not officially discovered in Europe until the 16th century. Think of the patience and skill required to carve each tiny gear, to fit it precisely among its companions, and to enclose it within a compact casing. The artisans behind this marvel combined mathematics with craftsmanship, bringing theoretical knowledge into tangible form. Where exactly was the Antikythera mechanism made? This question invites quiet reflection. Many scholars suggest Rhodes, a Mediterranean island known for astronomical studies and mechanical engineering. Others point to Alexandria, a hub of scientific and philosophical activity. Its precise purpose may never be fully known. Was it a teaching tool? A demonstration of celestial knowledge? A luxury item owned by a wealthy scholar or noble, a symbol of power and wisdom? Perhaps it was all of these. To the ancient Greeks, understanding the heavens was deeply intertwined with everyday life. The cycles of the sun and moon dictated planting and harvesting, festivals and rites. The Olympic Games, held every 4 years, were tied to these cycles, celebrated not just as athletic contests but as spiritual observances. The mechanism's dials even include a calendar for these games, a tangible connection between the celestial and the earthly. Imagine a scholar turning the device's dials, anticipating the next eclipse or festival, feeling connected to the eternal rhythms of nature. The study of the mechanism is a patient process. Early investigators could only guess at its purpose. In recent decades, technology has breathed new life into its study. X-ray computed tomography, CT scanning, has revealed hidden layers of gears and inscriptions beneath corrosion. Digital modeling has allowed researchers to reconstruct its workings, turning fragments into a working virtual model. Each new insight is like a quiet revelation, slowly illuminating the mind of the ancient engineer who crafted it. Beyond its technical brilliance, the Antikythera Mechanism invites us to reflect on the human spirit. It is a testament to curiosity and the desire to understand the cosmos. It reminds us that the quest to measure time, to anticipate the stars, is ancient and ongoing. The mechanism stands as a silent dialogue across millennia. A whisper from the past reaching toward the present. As we come to the close of this segment, imagine the mechanism once more. Feel the weight of its bronze casing, the smooth turning of its gears, the soft clinking as metal meets metal. Hear the faint echoes of the sea that swallowed it for centuries, and the quiet footsteps of scholars piecing together its secrets. Let this image settle, a soothing pulse marking time, a cosmic clock reminding us of the gentle, endless dance between the heavens and human ingenuity. May your mind drift with the slow, steady turning of those ancient gears, carried on the waves of history and time. Imagine yourself standing at the heart of ancient Rome, a sprawling city teeming with life and stories, stretching out beneath a wide, tranquil sky. The sun hangs low, casting a golden haze over tiled roofs and white marble temples. The air is rich with an earthy blend of scents, fresh baked bread mingling with fragrant herbs, the faint smoke of cooking fires, and the subtle, distant aroma of the Tiber River. Here, in this vast metropolis, countless lives unfold in intertwined patterns, some bathed in luxury and ceremony, others steeped in toil and simplicity. The rhythms of the city move with steady grace, a slow pulse beneath the hubbub of daily life. Let us walk through these streets together, letting your mind drift gently through the quiet contrasts of Rome's social world. Imagine crossing a threshold into a grand domus, a patrician's house nestled among narrow streets. The heavy wooden doors swing open to reveal an atrium, a wide hall crowned by an open roof that lets a soft shaft of light fall onto the polished marble floor. The faint splash of water from an impluvium, a shallow basin designed to collect rain, echoes quietly in the stillness. The walls are alive with color, frescoes of mythic scenes painted in deep blues, reds, and golds, their pigments mellowed by centuries. These images tell stories, gods and heroes, pastoral landscapes, and carefully crafted patterns that invite the eye to wander slowly. The air is scented with the gentle perfume of fresh flowers, lilies, violets, and rosemary, placed in delicate bronze vases that catch the light. A light breeze carries the subtle sound of rustling leaves from the peristyle garden beyond, where orange and olive trees stand among fragrant herbs, their blossoms nodding softly in the afternoon warmth. Here, the family reclines on plush cushions, reclining as was the custom for dining. Slaves move silently, bringing dishes of olives, fresh bread still warm from the oven, honeyed figs, and fine cheeses. Bowls of richly spiced sauces add depth to the meal, while cups of wine, diluted with water, as was tradition, glisten in the soft light. Conversations flow gently, reflections on philosophy, recent events in the forum, or the performances scheduled at the theater. The tone is measured and calm, a slow cadence matching the unhurried rhythm of the household. In this space, time seems to stretch, a moment of peace, refinement, and order, set apart from the city's bustle. Every element of the domus reflects status and intention. The triclinium, or dining room, opens onto the garden, allowing fresh air and natural light to mingle with the scents of food and flowers. The floors are mosaics, small stones arranged in intricate geometric designs or depictions of marine life, their surfaces cool beneath bare feet. Walls bear shelves with scrolls and artworks, showing the family's wealth and learning. Even the furniture is carefully chosen. Wooden couches with soft cushions and elaborately carved frames, small tables for food and drink, and bronze lamps emitting a warm glow as evening falls. This architectural harmony creates a calming refuge, a place to enjoy the pleasures of life while affirming one's place in society. Each day follows a deliberate pattern. Morning might begin with a visit to the baths, where the elite cleanse themselves in a progression of warm, hot, and cold pools, their skin soothed by gentle steam and soft brushes. The bathhouse is a place of quiet conversation and leisure, its vaulted ceilings and marble benches offering cool relief from the sun. Returning home, the patrician might hold a salutatio, a formal reception where clients and dependents come to pay respects and seek favors. This interaction is delicate and purposeful, part of the social fabric that weaves together power and obligation. Meals punctuate the day, with the main banquet occurring in the late afternoon. Here, courses are served slowly, soups, meats, fish, vegetables, and desserts of nuts and fruit, all eaten in small, measured bites. Music and poetry might accompany these gatherings, adding to the serene ambience. Now, imagine moving away from marble halls to the dense neighborhoods of the Insulae, multi-story apartment buildings where the majority of Romans lived. The streets here are narrower, lined with tall, weathered buildings made of brick and wood, their upper floors leaning slightly over the crowded lanes below. The air is warmer and heavier, carrying mixed scents, smoke from cooking fires, the tang of animals tethered nearby, and sometimes the sharper odors of refuse. Rooms are small, often a single chamber where families live, cook, and sleep. The walls might be bare plaster or decorated with simple frescoes, faded by time. Floors are dirt or rough stone, cool but uneven beneath bare feet. In the early morning, the neighborhood stirs, children's laughter mingling with vendors' calls selling bread, vegetables, and fish. Women sweep doorways, hang laundry that flutters softly on lines, and prepare simple meals over modest hearths. Men head out to work as bakers, cobblers, laborers, or merchants. The city pulses with their steady footsteps. Life here moves in rhythms shaped by necessity. Dawn breaks to the clatter of feet and the clang of tools. Families rise early to prepare for the day, gathering around small tables for bread dipped in olive oil or porridge made from barley. Water is fetched from public fountains, carried home in heavy clay jars. Workshops hum with quiet activity, the shaping of pottery, weaving of cloth, or the hammering of metal. Midday offers a brief respite, a chance to eat a modest meal, share news with neighbors, or rest in the shade. Evenings bring the return home, the cooking of food over open flames, and often the warmth of communal gatherings. Beneath both these layers of Roman society lies a quieter, often overlooked reality. The lives of slaves and freedmen. Slaves performed a range of tasks, from household chores to skilled crafts, from agricultural labor to tutoring children. Imagine a slave's morning, beginning before dawn in a bustling kitchen, tending fires and preparing food, their movements practiced and silent. Yet within this constrained existence, some found opportunities. Freedmen, former slaves granted liberty, often engaged in trade or crafts, gradually climbing the social ladder. Their lives illustrate the complex, interwoven nature of Roman society, where boundaries between freedom and servitude were sometimes permeable. Roman life extended far beyond homes and workshops. Public baths, sprawling complexes of pools and exercise spaces, offered both cleanliness and community. Here, you might hear the gentle splash of water, the murmur of conversations, the soft scraping of strigil tools used to cleanse skin. The forum buzzed with activity, merchants selling goods, politicians debating laws, citizens gathering to hear news. Festivals marked the calendar with moments of shared celebration and reverence. Imagine processions winding through the streets, music swelling, the scent of incense rising, and the cheerful murmur of crowds. These public spaces knit the city together, balancing the private and social. As we journey through these scenes, from marble villas to crowded insulae, from the toil of slaves to the leisure of the elite, a nuanced picture emerges. Rome was a city of contrasts, where beauty and hardship existed side by side. The grand and the humble coexisted within a vast, living tapestry. The steady rhythm of everyday tasks and rituals created a structure, a slow, comforting beat beneath the city's vibrant surface. As this segment comes to a close, let yourself linger in these images. Feel the warmth of sunlight on marble steps, the softness of cushions in a wealthy home. Hear the distant laughter of children in narrow streets, the clinking of water jars, the murmur of bathhouse conversations. Sense the steady pulse of the city, its blend of labor, leisure, power, and endurance. Allow these gentle contrasts to weave softly through your thoughts, a calming tapestry inviting rest. Let your mind drift slowly, as the city's rhythms fade into evening hush, and the quiet world of ancient Rome settles into peaceful twilight. Now, imagine yourself back where we began. Perhaps on a quiet shore, where the sea laps gently at stone. Or in the shade of an olive grove, where the leaves murmur softly above. The light is low. The day has passed. And with it, a long procession of lives once lived, and inventions once new. You have walked tonight through ancient homes and gardens, temples and battlefields, sunken ships and desert ruins. You've seen the turning of a wooden screw, slowly drawing water from a well, the careful arrangement of gears, hidden within bronze, the steam rising from a tiled Roman bath, the polished inkstone resting in a scholar's hand. Each of these, simple or complex, humble or ornate, was born not from chaos, but from attention. Patience. A kind of listening to the world. And while time has swept many of these things away, they were not lost in vain. for their spirit lingers. You can see it in the plumbing that hums through your walls, the compass that guides your journey, the lens through which you read these words. You can feel it in the stillness of engineered quiet, the systems and devices that serve without announcement, that operate gently beneath the surface of daily life. The ancient world was not silent. It whispered. And those whispers became the language of modern life. When we speak of invention, we often picture lightning bolts and sudden breakthroughs. But more often, invention is a slow unfolding. A quiet revolution. A gentle turning of the mind toward a problem, and then again, and again, until something gives. A path opens. A wheel turns. A question is answered, not with spectacle, but with form. So tonight, as you rest, perhaps you can carry with you the rhythm of those old lives. The hush of a potter's wheel spinning in the dusk. The clink of copper on stone. The brush of a stylus across wax. The soft click of a gear, hidden beneath layers of corrosion. These were the sounds of progress. Not loud. Not proud. But steady. And real. And lasting. Let your mind drift now, if it hasn't already, beyond time and name, beyond monuments and ruins, into that quiet current of curiosity that links the past with the present. May your dreams wander down ancient roads, through forgotten doorways, and into the gentle rooms where invention begins. Good night. And thank you for listening.